Hi. Yes, I'm a couple minutes early because, as always, I was trying to get a few things straightened out online. My hat, for one, and oh my gosh, look who's here! Danny Staten. He says, "Greetings to you." But where are you from? I have no idea of knowing where you're contacting me from, since you didn't say. While we're on the subject, there's a chance you guys might be hit with that in Breglio, that new hurricane. If you are, I wish you all the luck in the world. Oh my God, Sister Sarah's here. Sister Sarah, how you doing? Oh, Sister Sarah, one tiny glitch for this Tuesday. It says you have it at 10:30 your time, which I believe is 2:30 my time. I'll be at work. Is there any way we could do it at our normal 7:20 my time, which would be like 4:20 your time? If not, I'm sorry, we'll have to reschedule it. I'm terribly, terribly sorry. I just We'll be at work. And even immediately, I couldn't even, like, rush home. Long story short, my mom has something needs to be done on her car, and I have to take her to our mechanic, who's an amazing mechanic, but he's in the next town over. So it's gonna take me a few minutes to get there and back, and that's right, I'm first. Yes, you are. Hit me up after this, okay? Will do, will do. I'll hit you on Facebook. Danny says, "Hey, we're under a emergency advisory for Tuesday." Oh, that's that hurricane. Ooh, oh dear. Is that Tuesday? Apologies in advance. Snarksess is here. Hey, Snarksess, how you doing, my friend? Sean is that's all, folks. Sean Innes is here. Hello, Sean. Good to see you. Lance is here. Says, "Stay safe, Danny." That comes from me too. And it looks like, oh, we got four people in and two thumbs up. We can do better than that, people. Come, come now, come, come. And is my I think my headphones are blinking. These are new Bluetooth headphones, by the way. It's so funny. My other Bluetooth headphones have a mic on them. So when I was wearing these earlier, when I took the headphones off, I thought I wasn't broadcasting, and I still was because I'm actually talking to the microphone, which is right here. So funny story. This recap is for the benefit of those of you who tuned in late. Denny says we're supposed to get hit by the hurricane Tuesday, so that means it should turn out to sea and miss us. They're saying there's a chance it might do that. Umberto is definitely doing that. One of the things I saw, this won't help you because you're not in the Northeast, but to us folks up here in the Northeast, the jet stream is doing something funny. It's dipping down and it usually dips back up and then comes out around New England. It's dipping down, but then it's going out through the mid-Atlantic states. So the practical upshot of this, for us in the Northeast is if there's a hurricane coming to the coast, it's being caught in the jet stream and going out into the Atlantic. Sorry, Bermuda. But let's. What do I? Oh, I have another pair of glasses. I thought I was wearing them. Must be the spare pair. A spare pair. Lance has been watching Batman Arkham City video game movie. It's real good, great graphics and story. Glad you're enjoying. Haven't seen it, but it's Batman. How bad could it be? Oh yes, Danny, you brought up a good point. I think on behalf of our friend Dave Sundstrom and all the other folks who were touched by this tragedy, I just want to say we should take a moment of silence. So, moment of silence, people. Again, there are no words, but I'm very, very sorry. Christopher Wilkinson's here. He says, "Good evening, Bob." Yes, good evening to you too, Chris. Great to see you. Sean says, question mark. There was a firearm related incident at an LDS religious center in Michigan earlier today. He said quiet. We were. Texting is a very silent thing, but yes. And Christopher says, "Good evening, Lance and Danny and Sean." Uh, oh, and Danny says, "Yeah, Google it, Google it." I can't use a lot of the language to describe it because those are sort of catchwords in the algorithm. But I'm sure we can all imagine the situation, even if you haven't heard. But yes, go on Google or Facebook. There's a lot of sources that can give you the information. But again, I have alluded to it as much as I can. And Sean says, "Ugh, I didn't have it in me to click on that link. Didn't know it was at a Mormon church." Yes, yeah, it was LDS in Michigan. I know. I was doing the same thing. When you think LDS, you automatically think Utah, but no, there's plenty of other areas outside the Utah area. And yes, Danny, he did. That's very it's horrible. It's like the mind boggles. Mrs. Thrash is beside herself. It's just very very sad. Sean says my dad's side of the family are Mormon. I did not know that. I did not know that. Only 257 is here, and he says saw it on HBO Max. I'm assuming you're referring to the Batman. And yes, Danny, there is a lot of evil in this world, and it's terrible, terrible. Oh, Superman 2025. I still haven't seen that. I haven't seen Weapons either, and I'm kicking myself because everyone else has seen it, and loves it. Lynn says people are so unhinged these days. They really are. And glad it was good. Only 257 and one. It was a good one. Yes, it was. Well, for what I hear, for what I understand. I'm sure I'll see both of those films eventually. Hey, we have 7 people in the chat and 7 likes. You people are catching on fast. Indy is here. It says, "Unhinged, you rang." Yes. Oh, by the way, remind me. I was going through my notes. Oh, by the way, I listened to the Blue Oyster Cult album. I can't pronounce it, but I got to listen to it. I was reading up about it. It was very slick. I think a lot of it was references to stories. They say from Lovecraft, among others. I'm gonna have to do like more research. I think when I was listening to it, I think I was missing something. Like I wasn't quite getting the narratives, but in typical Blue Oyster Cult fashion, they were telling stories in their music. But I wrote theometric. And I know there's a reason why I wrote theometric. There was something I was supposed to research, and I forgot what it was. And I wrote theometric to remind me, and I can't. So please remind me. I've become such a scatterbrain lately. Oh my gosh, I really have. And let me just see. Only says my staff member is watching Coffee from the 70s. Oh, the blaxploitation film. Of course. Yes, yes. Lynn says Kofin, Kofu, Cornfeld, Coffin Joe, Zed. How do they say it in Portuguese? Zed de Gajon. It sounds almost like French, but it's Zed de Gajon, and it means Coffin Joe. A franchise of horror films from Brazil, which are pretty darn good. Corn Fu, Pam Grier. Yes, Pam Grier was in a lot of blaxploitation films from the 70s. Coffee 73, Lance. It's a great movie. Yes, it is. It is. And I'm actually caught up. I'm not used to being this caught up for this long. But I'm sure that will change. Theometric doesn't mean anything to me, I'm afraid. There was something I was supposed to research, and I wrote down theometric, and it was supposed to jog my memory. Maybe I dreamt it. Well, if anyone else knows what I'm talking about, it's like, swear to God. This happened at work the other day. I wrote somebody's name and phone number down, meaning to pass it on, but I couldn't quite remember them. It was about a golf club uh, event or something like that. Not a golf club event, a golf club event, and I couldn't remember. And one of the girls I worked with was like, "Maybe you should have taken more notes." And I'm like, "Yes, I should have. I should have." Mercy, mercy. Haven't seen the new Batman. Neither have I. And a lot of people saying hello to one another, so I believe I'm more or less caught up. But but I wrote this list of movies down, like they were going to be bullet points for some type of show. The problem is the list was completely and totally unrelated, and I like read it to about 15 different people. Like, what would be the theme here? What's the common thread? What show would I be doing this for? I was like, ah. I'm like, am I drunk listing again? Mm-hmm. Zubelix is here. He says, "Welcome all. Hola, mi amigo. I hope the hurricanes aren't too much of a headache in your area, bro. I hope you're doing well, and being safe. And other than that, I'm more or less caught up. Don't really have much going on tonight. I must confess, I didn't even I don't have trivia tonight. I'm so sorry. I don't. The week just kind of got away from me, and I was trying to come up with a theme, and I couldn't. I just nothing really grabbed me. In fact, if you guys have some themes for the next time I do trivia, I'd be happy to entertain the idea. Oh, Christopher said his father says hello. Please tell your father I said hello as well, by the way. He's a very, very, very nice man. And Lynn says, Thrash, what's the topic? Anything? Tonight, general Q&A. Jenny said just have people ask you anything they want and answer them. So yeah, you guys just general Q&A. You just any questions about the channel, what I got coming up, what I want to do, what I'd like from you guys, feel free to throw them out there. Oh, Paul Free's Gambit. Hello, Paul Free's Gambit. I know I mispronounced that, Paul Free. Good to see you. You haven't, no, I'm sorry. Have you heard about the lost movie Black Cream? I have not. I have not. But again, welcome to the show. And, I'm going to put that on the list. Of course, if it's lost, that won't really do much good. But there was a lost, we were talking about something lost today, by the way. I'm trying to remember. I believe Vim brought it up. But I was going to try to research and see what I could find out about it. But anywho, I'm getting some weird message. Oh, there you go, minimalized. Emily Miller here says, "Hey y'all, hello Miss M. So good to see you." Mrs. Thrash says, "Hello, of course." And 2007 two. I'm just going to call you 257. 257 says, Catwoman never thought the day would come when Robin would be my sycophant. Did ya, Aunt Harriet, being tied up by Pussycat? Oh dear, is there anything left to believe in? I would say no. I would say no. Emily says waves to at Mrs. Thrash. I will pass that on. Indy says, here's a topic: time travel film with only the years traveled to and from plus the year the film came out. That should thin the herd. I try to do things that specific. You are right, but time travel movies, that could be fun. Time travel movies and TV. Time travel trivia. I'll add that into the mix. Gambit says it stars. It stars. I can't read tonight. It stars David from the Sesame Street and an early appearance of Samuel L. Jackson. I love Samuel L. Jackson. Christopher says, good evening to Emily. 257 says, gotta love the 60s Batman TV series. Oh, you definitely do. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? And 257 says, Back to the Future movies. Those would definitely have to be in there. Emily is still sucking on albuterol every 6 hours. I hope it works. I'm not sure what that. I'm not a big follower of Big Pharma, so whatever ever you needed to do, I hope it works. Mrs. Thrash, I'm sure will know. Lynn says, I made hamburger stew, yummy, and brownies. Ooh, that sounds delicious. That sounds delicious. Form content is here and says, "Hi, Thrash, long time listener, first time caller. No, you've called before. You've called before, but so glad to have you back." Sean says, "By the way, Thrash, have you ever seen the Audrey Plaza movie, Safety Not Guaranteed?" I have not. I do like Aubrey. I would say Aubrey Plaza. I do like her, but I have not seen that movie. So sad that her husband passed on. That's very, very sad. Emily says it's for my bronchitis. It's funny, Mrs. Thrash has had this nasty cough for like 3 or 4 weeks too. It's probably turned into bronchitis, but she won't go to see her doctor. And I'm the worst person in the world to criticize anybody for that. But I hope you feel better, my lady. Sean says inhaler albertol oil phonetic spelling. No, Albert it's actually worse. Albertarol. I'll say albertarol. Phonic spelling. You know, phonic isn't spelled phonetically. A lot of people wishing her well. Gambit says, Thrash, how about the pseudo sequel to the French Connection called The Seven Ups? Okay, I'll put the Seven Ups down there. I haven't seen it, but I will certainly add that to the list. I haven't seen the French Connection in forever either. Emily says on season 9 of Smallville, Lana is finally gone. Forum says Aubrey was the only good part of the movie she made with De Niro. I've seen clips from that. I haven't seen the actual movie. I've seen clips from her. She is adorable in that too, by the way, at the risk of sounding like a dirty old man. Christopher says, I hope you feel better. Emily, yes. And everyone's hoping Emily feels better, as do I. 57 says, Grumpy, a fine bunch of water lilies you turned out to be. I'd like to see anybody make me wash if I didn't want to. And apparently both Emily and Lance didn't like Lana. Sister Sarah says, Pons made a Facebook message group with everyone to Dan on Dan dad joke off. I was saying Dan, but it's I'm sure you meant dad joke off, so we can all figure it out. See you there after your epic show. Cool. And Gambit says another Lena was gone in the 5th season of Three's Company. Was there Lena in Three's Company? Was that the one who was always hitting on Jack? Was that Elena? Elena Morissette? And Indy says 10 questions about vampire movies that ironically didn't suck. Oh, vampires, that'd be great. Vampire trivia. A little subjective, but I'll put that down to albuterol. 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 Yeah, Dad. LOL. Sorry, no problem. And Sean says that chase scene in the 7 Ups was largely filmed near my hometown in New York. Sawmill Parkway. And Sarah says to hit the like and all that sort of rot and subscribe and comment and all that sort of good stuff. Emily says, I've been catching a few of them. Lance never seemed to catch them live, though, and rather do time travel trivia indie. Both could work, 257, but I'll see what comes up and see what seems most fun. And only says Nosferatu from 1922 Palms. And Gibbet says, Sean, yes, that was a great chase scene, better than the French Connection 1, in my opinion. And he says to 257, Halloween will be here before you know it. No kidding. No kidding. Halloween month starts Wednesday. And 57 says, agreed. Indy Nosferatu from 22. And he says, oh, and Emily then goes on to say, now I need to know if there are any time traveling vampires. Yes. Yes, there are. In Brian Aldiss's Dracula Unbound, the vampires steal time travel technology and create a time train so they can secure their hold on the futuristic post apocalyptic Earth where they create a nuclear war. So the nuclear winter blocks out the sun so they can go out in the daytime, which was borrowed by Del Toro when he was conceptualizing the strain. The use of nuclear winter so they can go out in the daylight, not so much the time travel. But in Brian Aldiss, there is time travel. So, yes, funny you should ask. And Sean says to Indy, they started selling Halloween candy in my area in August, yes. And Lance says, Thrash, do a bad TV trivia from the 70s and 80s. Bad TV 70s and 80s. That's a good one as well. And 257 says, agreed pawns. As well as Buffy and Angel. They did a time traveling shtick. And Gimmet said there were time traveling vampires in Dark Shadows when they walked up the staircase. Yes. Holy cow. Yes, they did. That's an excellent point. And that was actually added to in the very short lived remake of Dark Shadows with Ben Cross, I want to say. No, not Ben Cross. Ben Kingsley. Ben Vereen. Ben Casey. Ben someone or other. Indy, help a brother out here. And Indy says Vampire Time Travelers from 1998. Emily. And Emily goes, ooh, that sounds interesting. Is it a movie or book? Dark Shadows was a TV show and movie. I'm sure you already knew that, but I'm guessing you mean Dracula Unbound. That one's only in book form. That was the book I was telling you guys about. He wrote it because after Roger Corman produced Frankenstein Unbound as a feature film, he thought he would become the next Michael Crichton. So he wrote Dracula Unbound ostensibly to sell it as a screenplay. He wrote it, and when you read it, it reads like a Hollywood screenplay. And unfortunately, Roger Corman didn't option it, and so he never made it into a movie. It's got its moments, but it kind of plays up to Hollywood cliches, is the nice way of putting it. Chris says, "Do we have any plans for Halloween, Bob?" Not as yet. Not as yet. Oh, and 257 has never seen it. And Zublik says, why, if vampires were supposedly dead already? Why, in which would they time travel? I don't know. Indy says, Brian Lumley did the vampire time travel stuff in his Necroscope series, Bob. Oh, okay, cool. I'm not familiar with that series, but there's another one. And Emily says they're not classic, but Charmed and Supernatural would be a good show for trivia around Halloween. Would be Ben Cross. It was Ben Cross. Thank you. Thank you. For some reason, that just didn't sound right. But didn't I say Ben Cross first? But anyway, thank you very much. And Lynn says, watched a few episodes of Battle of the Network with both Heather's dunk tank. Yes, please. And stars. Yes, I knew what you meant. No worries. And he says, what was the question stumping you, Bob? I didn't catch it. I believe it was Emily's question, which was I wasn't sure which thing she was interested in, so I just covered both bases. But I think you reiterated though with the your response about the Lumley series as well. So I think that's covered. But thank you. And Zublik says Lance did SNL. Lance SNL did a parody called Battle of the TS and TAs. I get it. I get it. And Zublik says, yes, you did. Okay, so I hate it when it's actually right the first time, and then I beat myself up trying to decide if I'm right or not. Foremost Contenders here and says, I went looking for an archive of Gary Berghoff's Twitter rant about the Battle of the Network Stars episode, but it's scrubbed from the internet. No kidding. I did not know that. I did not know that. And Lynn says, Emily, where has Music Girl 67 been at? Still see her from time to time on Facebook. I guess her work kind of makes it difficult for her to show up here. You can probably see her on Dave's member only chats, but I haven't seen her here in a while. And then he says, Zoe answered it for you, Bob. Thanks, Zoe. Oh, it wasn't a question. I was questioning myself. Yes, it was what Ben was in the short-lived remake of Dark Shadows. And so I thought you were going to question somebody else asked of me. No, I said Ben Cross and then went into convulsions because for some reason I was second guessing myself, even though I was right. This recap is for the benefit of those of you who tuned in late. Emily says, I have no idea, Lance. I see her on Facebook once in a blue moon. You saw me standing alone. Although I should have gone with Blue Moon, baby. Dun, 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 dun. I saw Blue Moon. Baby, dun 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 dun. And look who's here. Tug is here. Says, I hear from Liz every once in a while. She's still around, just busy. That's kind of what I had the understanding of. But hey, Lance, so glad you could make it. And we actually have 9 watching and 12 likes, so that's actually pretty good. And so yeah, we're just gonna do general Q&A, suggestions for future trivias, that type of thing. Nothing really. Everything's gonna be kind of casual tonight. And he says, you got here just in time for the musical number, Tug. Indeed he did. And Tug says, quick, say something. He's gonna catch up. I know. It's easy when you're not getting ready to do trivia. And Tug says, and 1 and 2. You know, by the way, this is crazy. You know, Lawrence Welk, icon that he was, he actually had 3 granddaughters, and all 3 of them were named Anna. And when asked, how do you keep them straight? He goes, well, that's a simpler, friend. I call them Anna 1, Anna 2, Anna 3. I know I've used that already, but it's a good one. Yes, my friends, use Geritol, Anamana, 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 yeah. Okay, so let's see, where am I? And oh, that's where I came in. Tiny bubbles in my brain. And Emily says, that's bad enough to make me leave. No, you can't go. All the plants will die. And Gambit says, at the end of Back to the Future 2, Marty tells Doc he's going back to 1985 and bringing him home, but he's already alive in 1955, so there's no need for the third movie. The time travel literally crumbles as the franchise continues. I've actually got people have gotten kind of miffed with me because it's like, look, you either like the movies or not, but if you start going over them with a fine-tooth comb, they crumble. Like, for example, how is it Michael J. Fox looks like his father and his maternal grandfather? Well, there's one answer, but it's ew. Danny says he never catches up. No, but I'm catching up. Zubik says, I thought Welk was Polish. something Eastern European. To be honest, I always thought Lithuanian. But of course, as you guys all know, the borders were always changing. Yes, friends, the borders in Eastern Europe are always changing. And 257 says, and our password will be. Password is blah, blah, blah. And Danny's giving. Oh, yeah, Danny, links. Thank you. Yes, please give us links. Wagwan links. And he says, what movie introduced the world to the Kadali method? Barbarella? I'm just guessing because we were just talking about it. I'm actually not sure, but please tell me. Please tell me. That's a good question. And then you can tell me what the koala bear method is, by the way, because it's ringing a bell, but that's probably the tinnitus. And Tug says to 257, with talk like that, you're going to summon Cthulhu. 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 And 257 says, again, but it's a good sequel. And Len says, Tug, you've seen The Substance with Demi Moore. And Tug says, the rules don't work in the Back to the Future series for sure. As a notorious time travel nitpicker, it always makes me annoyed. Great movies, though. Yes, indeed. Emily says, I'm just waiting on Bob to pronounce it Eric. Eric, you see, I pronounced it properly. Eric, the alpha bee. Ho, ho, ho. He. It's Eric, the alpha bee. I love this Hive employee. Bisected accidentally one summer afternoon by me. I'm going to stop singing now. And Tug has not seen it as yet. And Danny says, I'd rather watch the Time Tunnel TV series than anything with Michael J. Fox. One thing about the Time Tunnel that always bothered me is how come wherever they went in any period, they were always in some foreign country and the people always spoke perfect English. Tug said Close Encounters. 57 says, Danny, good show. Lynn says, Tug, it's something great. Body horror effects. Tug says, I've been wanting to see it, Lance. Body horror is my very disgusting jam. And 257 says, a Greek. Oh, sorry. Geek Cannibal Holocaust is more disturbing. I know, dude. And ow, my ear hurts. There, that's better. Do you guys get that where your glasses kind of dig in behind your ear because the headphones push them in? Indy says to Tug, you think your time travel movie nitpicker, we really need to see time travel movie together just so you can have me kicked out of the theater. And Tug says, hopefully I'll see it soon, Lance. And Lance Chapin says, also with Dennis Quaid. Oh, 257 says, bye, guys. 257, have a great night. Thank you for joining, my brother. It was so good to see you. Emily says, Danny, what do you have against Michael J. Fox? Everyone's saying goodbye to Only. Oh, hang on a second. The Dennis Quaid movie where he has the radio that gets signals from another time. Wasn't that based on a Ray Bradbury short story? I remember that short-lived sci-fi horror anthology show, Dark Room, had a short story very similar in theory to that. And I want to say Ray Bradbury. Indy, I'm sure, will know exactly what I'm talking about, even when half the time I don't. And James Dye is here. Says hello, everyone. James Dye, so good to see you, my brother. Nice having you back on the show. We missed you in your absentia. And Indy says, by the way, Bob, the Close Encounters from Tug was the answer to my question. Oh, the Kadali is the hand signals they used. Okay, I actually did not know that. I thought it was a reference to an earlier question, which is funny because it had no reference point. Sometimes I just read things out, so thank you for. But the was the Gedalia. Okay, thank you, and thank you for explaining and answering. And Doug says, "How long have you had to wear glasses, Thrash? Did you need them as a kid or only when you get older?" I actually didn't start needing glasses. At first, I only need them to read. I don't wear them when I drive or watch TV or just interact with people. But like if I'm on the computer, like at work, or like when I'm reading the comments, and that started about 20 years ago. About 20 years ago. Um, yeah, yeah, it was because I hit 40 and my eyes went. And it was so funny because they told me I used to have amazing vision. They say when you hit 40, your eyes are going to go. And guess what? I hit 40 and my eyes went. Probably the power of negative suggestion. Frequency. Yes. Okay. Frequency. But isn't frequency based on, or is it just similar themes? But thank you. Frequency. Yes. And Danny says, I don't like Fox much with crap like Teen Wolf and that Doc Hollywood. OMG. A lot of people saying hi to James. Why am I not surprised, Danny? Emily says, I guess you had to be a teen girl in the 80s to really like Michael J. Fox. You know, the weird thing though, Emily, is wasn't he kind of a conservative for you? I mean, I always figured you would have liked dudes who weren't quite so uppity and dressed for success and condescending and stuff. But anyway, to own their each. Um, and Gambit says that Dennis Quaid movie with Cher is pretty suspenseful. Frasier's dad is the ooh, I did not know that. I did not know that. And he says, I'm not familiar with any Bradbury story like that, but I'm sure I haven't read them all. Not 100% it's Bradbury. It could have been Matheson or any number of other people. I just remember it was a really cool episode. I love the show Darkroom. I love the show when I was a kid. I love the show Dark. I was so bummed when they canceled it. There's one where there's this guy. He gets married and he and his they have a child and he and his son buy this old style radio and for some reason it's picking up stories and music from the 1940s and at first he thinks it's just a local station playing nostalgic stuff but then he realizes no it actually is from the 40s and we find out that this kid's father was killed in World War II and he miraculously starts hearing messages from a German spy transmitting to the U-boats off the coast. And he comes up with a brilliant idea that if he can trick the U-boats into not attacking the transport his dad's on, his dad will still be alive. And so he affixes a transmitter to this radio with and he spends all night just transporting. You've got the wrong date. It's on this date, not that date. In German, don't ask me how. But anyway, he keeps transmitting the signal, and he wakes up, and he goes into the main part of it. They live in a upstairs in a butcher shop. It's like a family owned business, And he comes down and the father's there and he goes, Dad, you're alive? Yes, of course I am. And by the way, you left without your D card yesterday. Be sure to carry this. And it's a D card with a swastika on it. And he looks at the window and there's Nazi guards on each corner. And the implication is the Germans have somehow won the war. Oops. I will not meddle in God's domain. I will not meddle in God's domain. I will not meddle in God's domain. And Tugs' favorite Dennis Quaid movie. My answer, Enemy Mine. Well, of course, Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. Emily says, Lance, I'm glad Michael J. Fox got the part. Indy says, hey, Bob, could you do Tug a favor with and court? I'm sorry. Hey, Bob, could you do Tug a favor and count to 1,000,000? Thanks in advance. I will. But I will count in 1,000,000 power. So 1,000,000. There. I think I did that right. If I didn't, I'm sure you'll correct me. Lance's Dreamscape. Oh, yeah, that's a great movie, too. I love that one. Forms Condenses, same happened to me, Thrash. I was in the middle of delivering packages and suddenly couldn't read the addresses. Wow. So it was like literally in mid shift. That's crazy. I remember it wasn't quite like that with me, but I like noticed that I noticed that my arms were suddenly not long enough. I was if I had to read a receipt, I would just move it a little further away, and then finally, it just wasn't capable. And it was my boss was so cute. She went, she's like, Here, try these. And I go, I don't need glasses. She goes, they're just cheaters. Try them. It was like, I had like a Mr. Magoo moment. And, wow. And Zipperlick says, mail carrier form. Mail carrier form. I am not a mail carrier, so I haven't needed to fill out the form. And Len says, loved Michael in The Secret of My Success. And Emily says, not sure why you would think I wouldn't like uppity and sarcastic. Well, there is that. I figured like Mrs. Thrash, she was always teasing me because I was something of a bit of a yuppie when I was in college. I did that whole dress for success thing, and Mrs. Thrash always, oh, I would have hated you back then. So she liked the long haired, guitar playing, flannel shirt wearing, shop kids. I guess I don't know. She liked the guys who were just deep, but but capable and Renaissance men. I guess is I don't know. But anyway, it's refreshing to know that I'm wrong, though, Emily. And yes, I can certainly see Michael Keaton's charm. Ken says, "Did you ever do Twilight Zone trivia, Bob?" I tried that once, and it's amazing how many of the folks on this channel don't watch it with great gusto, and therefore, it was actually kind of it was rough. So I could try it again, but Formless Content says my favorite Dennis Quaid movie might have been Inner Space. That's a very funny movie, and the chemistry between him and Martin Short. I mean, I think they could have become like the next Martin Lewis, but it wasn't in the cards. Oh, Mrs. Thrash says hi. Hi, Mrs. Thrash. And she says hello to everyone. Oh, Emily said hi specifically, by the way. And she said, love her. Yeah, who doesn't? How can you not love Emily? And Len says Helen in Legend of Billie Jean. I was just talking with somebody about that movie the other day, and Christopher says, "Did you ever do?" Yeah, this is where we came in, and Gambit just jumped off the page. So they said that the reason Michael J. Fox got the part is because he had a comedic side to his acting. Eric Stoltz was a very good actor, but he wasn't humorous at all. That's right. Oh, yeah. We were talking about that before. They actually shot, I guess, most of the movie with Eric Stoltz, or at least a huge chunk of it. And I guess he was great, but he just wasn't funny. He was playing it too straight. And Marty McFly had that whole fish out of water thing going on, so I could see how Eric Stoltz could play that very well. But Michael J. Fox was certainly funnier. And Tug says Paramount passed on producing Nightmare on Elm Street because they thought it was too similar to Dreamscape. No kidding. And it's actually based on a true story. Well, actual events. Not the Freddy Krueger thing, but there were this group of men in Florida in the late 70s, early 80s who were having these nightmares and thought a demon was coming to kill them in their sleep and then started dying. Emily says, Lance, that movie should have been my first clue. That's another point. And Zublik says, countless times. I haven't done trivia countless times, more than once. And Form says, Emily, that movie had something for all of us. And Legend of Billie Jean, it certainly did. And I can certainly see why you would think Helen Slater is cutie. Well, she was. And he says, Formless Content, so you were walking down the street and your eyeglass prescription ran out. The same thing happened to Stephen Wright. There was a joke. There was I remember. Yes, the piece of there. I can't quite remember how the joke played out, but yes. And Tug says, Indy, I watched the right stuff just a couple of weeks ago with my kid. My favorite space race movie by far. Great movie. And Lance points out Paramount could have had Jason and Freddy. Wow. And I'm a little behind, so I'm just going to catch up here. I think, here we are. Forums contend Indy fabulous. And everyone's saying hi to Mrs. Thrash. Thank you, Lance. And Tug says I got 9 out of 10 on that quiz, and I'm pretty sure the one was controversial. Probably was. I probably should have just given it to you. And Indy says to Tug, tough call. Apollo 13 is so damn good. Why no? Apollo 13 is damn good, but come on, The Right Stuff. The cast alone. I mean, everyone was in that movie. And parts of it are actually very, very, very funny. It's I love that movie. So, but yeah, Apollo 13 is a great film, but I have to give it to The Right Stuff. And Lance says Eric Stoltz rocked in the movie Mask. Oh, he certainly did. And Informers Content says Michael J. Fox came out of the womb with an amusing look of befuddlement. And Lance says Eric and Leah Thompson were in some kind of wonderful, weird. They were. Holy cow. In fact, I was just watching that. It was the party scene popped up in my suggestion box for some reason. So I was watching it. If I remember correctly, my old roommate was from the same hometown as the guy in Pennsylvania, as the guy who was the bad guy in Some Kind of Wonderful, and he was like their local hero, But that is, as they say, that a lot of water under the bridge. And it says, "Form, I don't have that look, but I share that feeling." Very in Form is like LOL. And Gambit says the wildlife, Chris Penn, Leah Thompson, etc. Yes, the wildlife, which a lot of people thought was some kind of quasi sequel to Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It was a love letter to Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but it was made to ride the coattails of it. But it was really kind of dark. It was darker. And doesn't Michael Stoltz have a small part in that movie as well, or am I thinking of a different? There were a lot of movies like that came out in the mid '80s, but the kid from Weird Science, Ian Mitchell Black, I think his name is. Anyway, I met him once at a house party in North Adams when I was in college, many, 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 many years ago. Very funny kid, very funny guy. And let me just see. I think I'm more or less caught up. Form says, "Wait, do I need to watch The Right Stuff?" I never did. Watch The Right Stuff. Watch The Right Stuff, definitely. And Tug says Apollo 13 has a pretty stellar cast as well. It does, but I have to give it to The Right Stuff. I have to give it to The Right Stuff. And Indy says to Tug, and Ed Harris was in both. What a show off. And Chris says, "Good evening to Forms Content." And Tug says, I kill it with Some Kind of Wonderful at karaoke. She's some kind of wonderful. And Lance says, The Right Stuff. Very interstellar cast thresh. Oh, yes, very much so, very much so. And Tug says, did he make a woman for you? No, he did not. Ian Mitchell Smith, thank you. I was thinking of maybe Ian Michael Black from the state. Ian Mitchell Smith. Thank you, Lance. And Indy. And whoever else decides to intersperse. And James says, sorry, I have to go. Had a horrific night last night, and it isn't over yet. More than understand. James, it was so nice seeing you. More than understand. Please come back when you feel like it. And he says, it's no Elon Mitchell Smith. Elon, not Ian. Elon. As in the spirit of Elon. All right, I will say Elon. Sorry. Thank you. And Lance apologizes as well. And a lot of people saying, feel better, Lance. As does Zuplix. Sorry to hear that, Jan. Yes, please take care of yourself. We'll see you very soon. Yeah, I'm dying. We all are. Act accordingly. And thoughts on Iron Eagle? I think I saw it when I was in college and haven't seen it since. Um, if I remember correctly, it had Louis Gossett Jr., and I love everything he's in, but they kind of blend together, with the exception of Sadat. Although, hey, wait a second. No, no. Give me a second here. Yes, he did play Sadat. I was thinking of who played him in a woman called Golda, but I believe Robert Loggia played him in one called Golda, which is funny because Anwar Sadat looked nothing like Robert Loggia. But then, while we're on the subject, Anwar Sadat looked nothing like Louis Gossett Jr. But in any event, yes, Louis Gossett Jr. is great, and he was in Iron Eagle, so I'll say Iron Eagle is good. And Gambit says message retracted, and a message retracted to you as well, by the way. And Len says OT the rescue, Tug. Yes, an OT the rescue to you as well. And Toy Soldiers with Sean Austin and Will Wheaton. And Indy says Robert Loggia. Let's bring those sons of bitches down. R as in Robert Loggia. B as in oh my god, it's Robert Loggia. Tug says Louis Gossett Jr. was a great man, a great role model, and a great actor on the side. Well said. Oh, and Gibbons brings up Toy Soldiers by Marquita. Yes, which was a great song. I could never figure out why she never went further than that. I did love that song. And Indy says, I know he was fun in Digstown. And Lance says, Independence Day, welcome to Earth. Yes, Robert Loggia plays the vice president in Independence Day. Or someone. He plays someone. He is, in fact, in Independence Day. Doug says, that is correct. And Lynn says Marquita was in Kids Incorporated. Yes, so was Fergie. Fergie was also in Kids Incorporated. And I just heard a fun fact about Fergie. I go, that's interesting. And I can't remember what it was. So apparently it wasn't that interesting. But if I think of it, I'll share it. And Forbes Content says, I only recently learned about that kids show that Marquita, Jennifer Love Hewitt, that Black Eyed Peas girl, Fergie, they are started there. Yeah. Jennifer Love Hewitt. It was weird. Jennifer Love Hewitt was actually in a bunch of stuff. She was in like the Birds of Paradise. She was in a show with the guy from Max Headroom. That was like a wacky sitcom. She did a bunch of things that only lasted like one season, but she was such a great actress they kept repurposing her. But she was in Kids Incorporated. Lynn says Moroi, Moroi. And if you spy a Moroi with captivating ways, we shall drink to love all our live long days. Yellow! What submarine movie is that from, Tug? Indy, give him a second. He was professing his love of submarine moves earlier. I know you know, but and Mario Lore. Mario Lore. I see. Now yeah. Oh, so it was going to be Mario. Anyway, Gamer says Fergie is really interesting. Just ask her. Oh. Good one. Good one. And Forbes Condensed says Kids Incorporated. Yes. Sorry, I talked slow, but it's okay. We got there in the end. And Emily says Jennifer Love Hewitt has changed so much. In what way? And I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know in what way. And Indy says to Lens, is that the supposed to be? Okay, I'm just trying to read it. Oh, Moroni, farging isol. It took me a second. You farging isols, you some of a batches. From Johnny Dangerously. One of the funniest bits they did in the entire movie. And Peter Boyle, check out the mouth on that guy. You fucking iceholes. Mario Lopez was the drummer on Kids Incorporated. Ah, okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, we got it. Mario Lopez, yes. And the book says, T Pons, has your brother in law been operated on yet? No, no, unfortunately, he does. He has a online chat checkup call with Dana Farber tomorrow, and they're going to take it from there. Things are kind of dicey with the service he was receiving from before, and we're actually, well, I can't, it's, I don't want to say classified, but we're kind of, let's just say we're weighing our options. So I kind of need to keep a little tight lipped on it. But thank you for asking. And he is meeting with Dana Farber tomorrow, at least online. And Indy says, I was in the other room. Bob, were you singing It's a Long Way to Tipperary? No, but that's an excellent guess. And that, of course, is from Doss Boat. You know, I remember years ago I was interviewing girls at the restaurant I was working at. We were hiring some summer help, and there were these two charming girls from Ireland. I actually hired both of them. They were wonderful. They were both college students, and one of them was going to university at Tipperary. And I said to her, is it a long way to Tipperary? And she goes, no, not really. And her friendly Norman says, he's making a joke. And she goes, I know. And I was like, you're hired, you know? No, for you, my friend, and you, my friend, and all of us together. Here's how we sing of love and laughter and song. Good beer, my friend, good cheer, my friend, in every kind of weather. Now, both of you should tug. No, it's not Long Way to Tipperary. It's for you, my friend, and you, my friend, and all of us together. I'll give you guys another minute, then I'll give it away. Good guess, but wrong. And Emily says compare her picks from just a few years ago to now. Ooh, I haven't done that, so I perhaps you've noticed something I haven't. I will check that out. I'll take your word for it too, by the way, but I will check. Forbes Content says, okay, I was going to watch the right stuff tonight, but I think I will be Johnny Dangerously and maybe Dr. Detroit if I can get them. That would be a phenomenal double feature. Wacky 80s comedies. Gambit says Thrash, the opening theme and associated video from Blackadder season 1 is the funniest opening I remember seeing, riding through the snow and then some type of pratfall. The sound of hoopies across the glade. Yeah, their bits. I believe the one you're referring to specifically is when he's trying to hook up with a lady of the court and she thinks it's his brother and she pushes him off the side of the castle and the dogs attack him. But there was always some little blurb, a little funny tag right before they did the opening uh musical number for the opening. And then it says, and Adam Lambert from the Monster Squad was in Kids Incorporated. That I did not know. And so it says, who the heck is Dana Farber? It's a cancer research. Uh, what's what I'm looking for? Hospice is the wrong word, but it's an organization which deals specifically in cancer treatment and uh, oncology and that type of thing. We used to raise money for them when I worked for the 99 restaurant. I'm sorry, I assumed that you knew what that was, but yeah, the Dana Farber Clinic. Tug says Blackadder is one of the few things that I can always Get me cry laughing. Lynn says a chuckle and a tear. Tug says enemy below, and it's Tug for the win. Yes, Tug for the win. Very good, very good. And Christopher says, did you get the October issue of the Remind magazine yet, Bob? No, not yet. And Lance hasn't gotten it either. And he says, that's the enemy below. It's amazing how much easier these are when you can actually hear the song. No, yes. But I'm still impressed that you guessed It's a Long Way to Tipperary, because that scene in Das Boat is iconic. The thing of it is, Tug heard the song and it still took him a minute. I think he was defaulting to Das Boat. But yes, India, I knew once you heard the song, you would get it straight away. And I knew Tug would eventually work it out. So well done, both of you. There we go. There we go. But again, it's funny how when you mention a musical number from a sub movie, everybody first click Das Boat. It's a long way to Tipperary, and it is, you know. Christopher says, "Did you?" Oh, I already read that one, and that one, and that one. And Gambit says, "For a second, I was thinking Dana Elcar. No, Dana Farber. Dana Farber." And Tug says, there is no Dana, only Zool. There is no Dana, only Zool. And Zool says, is that in Massachusetts? Yes. Yes, it is. But it's funny, they get people from all over the world. It's a world-renowned cancer clinic. So oftentimes people who never been there but know someone who was treated for cancer knows of it. There was an old anime that long story short, you find out this kid from America shows up, and this Japanese kid like is fluent in English, and you find out that his mother died of cancer. So, but they were living in Massachusetts for a long time. That's how he learned English. I don't know what made me think of that. But Lynn says, love Daryl, very emotional. And he says to Tug, nice doggy, cute little pooch. Maybe I've got a milk bone in my pocket. You know who was supposed to play that part? Actually, Indy, I bet you already know this. But I'll give you a second. Someone else was slated to play that part, and there was some kind of scheduling problem, so it went to him instead. But Rick Moranis instead. Tug says, yes, I was defaulting to Das Boat, but once you did more of the song, it was easy. There you like I say. But again, how many sub movies have musical numbers, and everyone would most likely go to Das Boat. Das Boat is amazing, by the way. It's one of my favorites as well, by the way. And Tug says, yes, I was. Yeah, I read that one. And Tug says, I've got to go make dinner, but I'll still be listening. Tug, peace. Enjoy your dinner. My best to your family. Have fun. And Indy again for the win. I think it was John Candy, but not sure. No, you were exactly right. It was John Candy, and it was written. He wasn't a geek. He was this sort of like lecherous playboy type, similar to the character that he played in Splash, only a bit more lecherous. And he was always coming on to Sigourney Weaver, and like he was an accountant, but he wore like the those leisure suits, and he would come out. Oh, so you coming to my party? But there was some scheduling conflict. I think he would have done a great job, but how could you not love Rick Moranis in that part? Lynn says, okay, Tug, happy eating. Or what was it? Orphans of the Stars, where their hello and goodbye is good eating. Because they live on a generational ship and the food production is like hand to mouth. So good eating. Um, and Gambit says John Candy hitting ins on Sigourney Weaver. That seems odd. Anyone hitting on Sigourney Weaver, I think, is odd. By the way, not beautiful woman. I can understand her getting attention, but she looks like someone who would just snap your arm if you cross the line, shall we say? um, Her and Linda Hamilton, same difference. And let's see what else we got going on here. It is weird that I've caught up, but I'm sure someone will say something quickly. Something quickly. Again, any other ideas for trivia next week? Any other topics you guys might want to hit on? Next week is probably going to be the Dan and Sarah show with me, and I'm sure we'll have a guest as well because we always seem to. But again, while we're talking about topics, which we haven't been for a while, but if we think of any, please let me know. Oh yes, Claudia Cardinal died. That was very, very, very sad. She was an Italian actress who she was really big in the 60s, but I guess in Italy she had just worked for years. She was in Once Upon a Time in the Old West. And I believe, wasn't she in When Women Had Tails? Zoop, I believe she was. But she was an amazing actress and a beautiful, beautiful woman. And I guess in Italy, she was like a national treasure. And Emily says, totally random, but today is my grandson's birthday. Oh, happy birthday to your little grandson. How is your grandson, by the way? How old is the grandson? Happy birthday. Christopher said, do Lawrence Welk trivia. I don't know if I could do that, but has anyone seen? They have the bit on the Lawrence Welk where they do one toke over the line, and it's a riot. It's actually a pretty good rendition too, but odd thing you'd see on Lawrence Welk. And Emily says, "Let's don't and say we did, Chris." Not a big Welk fan, huh? And Zupli says, happy birthday to your grandson, Emily. And Lance says, tell him happy B-Day, M. And Gambit says, trivia. Name the 10 slurs from All in the Family that were censored in 2025. Just kidding. Name the 10 made-up swear words for Battlestar Galactica. And Lance says, thank you very much, not Welk. And Christopher says, happy birthday to Emily's grandson. Yes, happy birthday to the young man. How many grandkids do you have, by the way? Well, I want to say 3, but I'm not just an educated guess. I have 1. I have 1 granddaughter. Frack that. 10 swear words. Well, frack. Okay, well, frack's 1. Felger Carb is another. I'm going to get censored and shut down. Actually, all kidding aside, I think they were just the 2, but we could make some up. My friends and I used to do that. We would make up words that meant other things because you could get punished for saying the other things. Oh, did you mention that already that you have 7? Emily, I'm wicked sorry. I didn't see that you had 7. I do apologize. But you probably told me how old he was too, and I'm sorry if I missed that. I don't know how I keep missing because there's not even that busy of a chat. But anyway, 7. Crazy. And Lynn says, Thrash, where's the next Retropalooza? I don't know. Dave and I were talking about it. Pat had his hands full with some stuff. Barry wanted me to be on his show with Alan, but I guess it wasn't in the stars because it was supposed to be like last week. I didn't hear from him, so the point is I've been out of touch, but we will keep you posted. I promise. It's under Gambit's comment. Okay, all right. Oh yes, it was under the slurs. Oh, I see. And yes, it is there. He's 15, second oldest of my 7 grandkids. Okay, the granddaughters, the one who I said looks like you. I'm guessing she's the oldest, and I'm sorry. I don't know how I missed that comment. I don't know. I'm so sorry. Yes, because then I went on to say very much not well. So yeah, I saw it. I must have missed it. I'm terribly sorry. I hate it when I do that. And Indy says, thanks for the triv. Oh, No, Indy. I apologize. It was my shortcoming. I know that's half the reason you come to the show. So I imagine you were just a teens even disappointed tonight. I'm terribly sorry. I'll try to let it happen again. But thank you for sticking it out and indulging us with your wisdom. Oh, Kevin's here. He says, "Hey, Thrash. Hey to you too, by the way. Could someone please drop Kevin a link? Although I'm sure all of you are already subscribed. And yes, we have another project coming up. What's the date on that, by the way? Please drop the info as to when the next show is. Well, that you're doing and that we're doing. Please do. And by the way, every guys, tell Kevin he's got to see Excalibur, because I want to do a show on Excalibur. And Gambit says, whatever happened to that guy you did comments for on YouTube, Thrash? Ian dropped out of YouTube. Got to be a couple years ago. His wife passed on. It was very, very sad. And then he was kind of on again, off again, on again, off again. And I still talk to him from time to time on Facebook. But yeah, he's kind of dropped out of YouTube. But wow, good memory. Good memory. I'm so glad that you brought that up. But yes, I do still talk to him. He seems to be doing well. Had a rough patch, but he seems to be doing well now. Emily says, that's my daughter. So you don't have a granddaughter in her late teens? I thought you had a granddaughter in her late teens. I apologize. Emily, I'm so sorry. I've been so completely and totally unable to keep track of your family. I'm sure see, it's easy with me because I have one, and one. I have one mother, one wife, one daughter, one granddaughter. So it's like, it's easy for me to keep track. So I apologize, but thank you. And Zublik says Pat is at wit's end over the financing of his home's renovations. Yeah, it's very sad. He is really at his wit's end. And let me say hello to entertainment. And Len says, Ian, it has been 3 years. Has it really been 3 years? That's crazy. Kaiju Connections, and it's going to be Youngery, and November 2nd. November 2nd. But Kaiju Connections is the subcategory. I hope to see you there. Your oldest granddaughter is 10. And so I'm guessing then your oldest grandchild would be a boy. But the 15-year-old who was born today is second oldest. Len says, I miss the Glitter Boom girls. I know. I don't even think they're posting either. And Kevin says, Middle Earth special in December. No date as of yet. Well, that actually might be able to, if you watch Excalibur, we could refer to that, because as I'm sure you people already know, when Boorman made Excalibur, he had initially envisioned doing Lord of the Rings, but he couldn't get the rights to it. So he said, screw it, I'll use the Morte Arthur, because I believe that was public domain at that point, and made a movie about the adventures of King Arthur, and it's considered one of the best high fantasy medieval films of all time. About as historically accurate as an episode of Hogan's Heroes, but great movie. Oh, and Gambit says Glitter Boom Girls dropped out of YouTube also, I think. Yeah, so do I. I think they stopped it too. And you remember I did a show with them once, with Ian, of course. And I was having technical trouble. I had a set of headphones. It was a headphone microphone combination, and a wire crossed or something in it. And I had to speak into the headphone and listen from the mouthpiece, and it was ridiculous because I'm like this through the entire show. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever experienced. It was just a riot. Emily says, my oldest grandson is 18. I shared a pic of him, his mom, my daughter, and his dad at my graduation. At his graduation. I doubt you had an 18-year-old grandchild at your own graduation. Oh, I'm guessing it's on Facebook. I will observe it. And again, congratulations to all of them. And 7 grand gets crazy. Cindy's here, says hello all. Sorry I'm late. Oh, it's quite all right. It's been a very casual show today. Very surprisingly casual. Almost unprofessional of me. But so glad you could make it at this payant. And Lynn says no trivia tonight. Just chatting. Is it correct? A lot of people saying hi to Cindy. And Kevin says Anubis is doing a fantasy special, and Excalibur is gonna be part of it. Maybe if I asked Anubis nicely, he would let me join. So yes, I will approach him. Oh, I felt so bad. I wanted to join. They were talking Threads, which we were just talking about on this channel last week. They were doing Threads. I want to say Walter and the Professor, and I remember I was at least gonna like watch part of it and say hi guys, and I couldn't. I feel bad. So I'll tell them both. I said hi later. Christopher says, I can't believe someone as young as you has grandchildren, Emily. Um, well, she's like literally my age. I'm like a year, maybe like 10 months older than you, Emily. And I have a grandchild, so it's possible. Formers Content, Knight Riders, Excalibur. We were talking about that. I love Knight Riders. And I can't believe motorcycle jousting tournaments is not a thing. Emily says, Chris, I'll be 58 in January. Not really that young. So okay, so I've turned 58 in August. So November, December, January. I'm only 5 months older than you am. So there we go. And Christopher says good night. Good evening, Cindy. And Lance says I'll be 55 in December. And Formers Content says, wow, I will be 60 in a month. Happy birthday, prelated. But I guess it's not so weird that we're mostly older here. LOL. I know we get some young people, but it's tougher for young people to get nostalgic about things that they weren't around for. That just takes more of an effort, I suppose. And Cindy, I'm already 58. Zubik says, so great grandmast ship at 60. And Emily says, Lisa and I have the same birthday. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. And Christopher says, Christopher, I thought you were 62. Did you? Oh, you must have. That's right. You were just about to turn 63. Yeah. There. And Kevin says, yeah, it was a great stream. And I was going to be part of it, but I am decorating more than understand. And Emily says, I could easily be a great grandmother at 60. It's doubtful, but possible. Yeah. I mean, he's certainly old enough to, yeah. And Gambit says, take care, Thrash. Have a good evening. Gambit, so glad you were able to come by tonight. Please feel free to join us very, 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 very soon. And hey, thanks for the nostalgia about our nostalgia. So good. Take care. And Cindy says, we are Gen X. Yes, we are. And a lot of people saying goodbye to Gambit. And so, actually, I'm thinking about kind of wrapping anyway. My throat's starting to crack again. So perhaps we should think about calling it an eve. So again, guys, I want to say thanks. Let's see. Lance asked Emily a question. But anyway, Lance, I will do in a pinch. Oh, I see. He said you're great. She says, I'll do it a pinch. You are very good, whether or not you are being pinched. A lot of people saying good night to Gambit. And Lance says, I'm out. Got to, guys. Have a great night. You too. A lot of people saying good night to one another. Yeah, guys, as always, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun. I know it was very, very casual, but I think we had a good time tonight. There will be trivia next time I do a solo show. Next week, it's going to be Dan and Sarah, and maybe some others. And it looks like Sarah may or may not have a plan for this Tuesday, but please pencil in Tuesday night for the best of the dad joke off part 2. And until then, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.